How's that feel, Tyler? Is it cold enough?
Woo!
If it's too cold, I can heat you up a little bit.
Up a little bit, dude. Oh, that's good.
Oh, set fire to your shoe. Oh. Oh man, I burnt Posey's shoes. Sorry, dude.
Thanks, dude.
My balls is totally moving, new and improving. How can we get back up? I'm not the heart and desire. My balls are on fire, ready to take us to the top. Welcome to the show. Did you know that your mom is a the king of the West! King of the West! Smoke machine is temperamental. I'll turn it off and it go. We still don't have a fan!
Wait, hold on. Hey.
My fault.
There we go.
It's not working.
It's a little bit.
It's not. I mean,
I can see you better. Look at that. It's working. Hey, dude, that was sick.
yeah?
Really good. That scream at the
Yeah?
end,
Yeah?
really solid note.
I like you.
I like you too. Thanks for having us here.
You guys are
Is
cool.
that the same words you sing every single time? Or?
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say if
Is
you're making
Palo
that up
Santo?
on.
What?
Palo Santo?
No. See? I turned it off. It doesn't stop.
It's the only smoke machine that takes on course.
I pressed off.
Squirting at you.
In just a few moments, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see our guest. But right now,
Tyler Posey, Through the Mist, welcome back. Brandon, nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me.
you will meet them. But right now, you don't.
Tully's got it the worst.
Yeah, does he?
Yeah, I think so. On like screen over there.
Oh, yeah.
Look at
yeah,
that.
You've got it.
It's like in a different world.
People have seen my face enough.
But
You do
have
feel
they
like
seen the
that's-
mustache?
No, the mustache is a more recent
I
addition.
love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm still finding the
Uh-huh.
overall groove, but I've got the raw stuff of a look here.
You do.
Distinguished.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure about that.
It's a
You
good
could
one.
be a cop.
That's what it is. It's a very cop mustache.
Yeah. No.
Clean,
no,
tight.
No. You could be, frankly, madame, I don't give a damn.
Okay, getting warmer.
Gla-
Yeah.
Ga-
Because I've heard the
Clark-
concept. Because what I keep
Clark
getting.
Gable. Yeah, it's a bit of a Clark Gable.
Yeah.
You love Clark Gable, don't you, Michael?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Because
You don't.
I love old movies.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but I feel like it's the cop thing is like when somebody goes, "Hey man, your band's really really good," sound just like Korn.
Yeah, it's not cool.
I'm
Well,
getting.
hey,
and
would
I've
you-
gotten so many. I love your mustache. You look like a cop, and I'm like,
Just so you
thank
know,
you for totally ruining.
I was
it.
saying you look like a cop to be a dick.
Oh, I appreciate it because when I had a handlebar, I think people were. It was closer to the truth.
Right.
Do you prefer? I mean,
You look
is
less-
it the same kind of thing where people are like, "Oh, nice porn stash"? Which one do you hate
You don't
more?
look like you're in porn.
No, you know what I find is any time that I do anything more than
I do.
have a 5 o'clock shadow, a side
damn it.
part, and a plain black T-shirt, people will accuse me of being a total dad and a hipster.
It's not real, is it?
No matter what
Is it real?
What?
Is it real?
the mustache?
It's a real mustache.
What do you mean is it real?
The question is, are you?
Yeah, that's
I'm
a fair
real.
question now after that comment.
Yeah.
Are you really here?
Hold on.
here.
I think we can convince you you're not.
Let me. I want to show. Did you see my mustache that I had recently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did?
I didn't like it.
Why?
It's dirty.
It was dirty. That's
Why
why.
do you-
That's why I liked
I feel
it.
like you were zooming in on pieces of food in it on purpose.
Was I doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's. I
You
didn't.
had
even-
something in it and you were like, look at that.
Oh yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah, why you did that?
Because it was there, and I didn't.
But you
I
could have
was
taken
embarrassed. I could have taken it out, but I was filming, and I didn't know that it was there until I started filming, and I didn't want to start the film over.
it out. Why not? Have you ever
I'm
taken more
authentic.
than? Have you ever done more than one take for Teen Wolf?
No, I'm one take every single time.
You're that good.
I'm that fucking good. Look at that. Did you
Are
see
you
that?
talking
Tony?
about when you had the lip curtains?
So
Hey.
no, but this one's the more recent
Oh,
one.
okay. See, that's more copy.
Yeah.
That's
See, there's the lip curtain right
Oh, that's more cowboy.
Tombstone.
Tombstone. Thank you. Yes.
that looks like if Pedro Pascal shrunk, but his mustache didn't.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's what I am. But so whenever, I don't know, people who don't have facial hair out there, facial hair is the funnest thing.
Like
Women.
women,
And
women.
that's not
You don't
true.
know what you're missing out on.
Some women
It's
can have
super
facial
cool.
hair.
Yeah. One time I met a. Sorry. Yeah. One time I met a guy who was, because you got to do it right.
Sure.
I met a guy at the T Awards,
What's that?
Trans Awards,
Gotcha.
and they were born a lady, and they were a guy now, and they had they had like a dress jacket on, and a wife beater, real low cut wife beater. And I'm trying to think. I think they had top surgery, so they had no more.
Did you know you're not allowed to say that anymore?
What?
The wife beater. It's called an A-tank.
Really?
Found that out on a film set.
Man, usually I'm pretty flexible with everybody. Well, I don't know if I'm going to do that.
See, that ruins a lot of fun because my daughter has a similar kind of vibe. She's 5, and I refer to her shirt as a husband beater.
Right.
That's probably more
See, that's
accepted
better.
now. You
I
got,
think
the scales have to tip.
That's super rad.
Husbands
It only
deserve a beating.
it only makes sense if we still have
mostly.
wife beater.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I used to have a wife that used to beat me.
But for fun.
Nah, I wasn't having
Oh.
a good time at all. Yeah, it was pretty
Jesus.
serious, actually. Yeah.
That's
Nobody believed me
horrible.
because she was so cute and hot. And then one time she beat me up. One time she beat me up in front of my roommate, and he was like, "Wow, that's not cool." And then another time in the snow, I went to
in front of your roommate.
yeah,
balls, dude.
Like I wasn't allowed to smoke pot marijuana back then. She was trying to help me. She had a trigger because her parents used to do it too, so she really didn't like it. But
Beat
when I
her
met her,
or
I was
smoke?
high. But anyway, I wasn't allowed to, and I agreed that I wasn't allowed to, and I came back to the house high with sunglasses on, which was not a good move. But I'm a very bad liar. So I had sunglasses on. I was playing video games, and I was lying on my stomach. My friend was playing video games. I was like, "Cool, man, can I play?" He's like, "Yeah." So I sat down and started playing video games, and she comes in the room, and she's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hey," and she goes, "Why you got sunglasses on?" I was like, "I don't know, just playing video games." She goes, "Take your sunglasses off," and I know because I attract mummies, or I don't even attract. I make people my mummy, something like that. So
For our American listeners, you mean mothers,
Mama.
not the undead wrapped in gauze.
Yeah, yeah.
mummy.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, mothers. So I took my sunglasses off for my mother, and
That
and
hard R
she
is
goes,
horrible.
"Look at me," and I looked at her, and she knew what Hi Jason looks like
Yeah.
immediately, and then she got up and started foot stomping me on the head into the. And then I remember as my foot was bonking off the carpet.
Your head.
Yeah, sorry. What did I say?
Foot.
Yeah, my head was bonking off the carpet. I saw my friend running up the staircase, and I was like, "Cool, man. Thanks for having my back." But I get it. He can't do anything. But then another time in the snow, I went to a party where I was paid to go, and my mother said, "Be back by midnight," and I drank too much, and I didn't come back until 2. And when I came back into the hotel room, it was DC shoes. So what I didn't realize is all the other rooms around me had other athletes in it and photographers and stuff. And that was the biggest beatdown I ever got from a lady ever. I walked in and she started screaming at me for being late. And because I was drunk, I just didn't even, strain. I was just like, because I don't want to cuss because of YouTube, but I was like, F you.
We can't cuss.
Nah.
Got you.
And it's okay. And then she kicked me in the balls, and it dropped me to my knees. And then she started punching me in the head. No, she kicked me in the face.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, but I got beat up a lot. And then I went to sit
This is
on
the same one. The same.
Yeah, same. Only one person I ever went out with that did that stuff. But it flinched me. My next wife, when I did something bad to that mother, I flinched her.
Oh,
And she was like, she felt sorry for me.
it's heartbreaking.
She was like, I'm just so you know, I wasn't going to hit you.
Oh my
and I think it's really sad that you thought that I would do that. And I was like, yeah, well, you don't know where I've been.
Do you still have those sort of reflexes?
Nah,
there?
it's been a long time since
good.
somebody hit me. Now I train, so,
So you can.
well, no, I don't.
Oh, you're just used to it.
It's not
now.
that I would fight back. It's that I've been hit by way bigger people, and I don't really care about getting hit anymore.
Right.
I kind of like it. So anyway,
Oh yeah.
I remember being on the couch, and she goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm sitting on the couch." I figured I'm on the couch for the night. She's like, "Get in the bedroom." So I went to sleep in the bedroom. When I woke up in the morning, my pillow was covered in blood. So I was pretty beat up. Wow. And then the next day, I get in the car to go to the snow, and the photographer guy that I didn't really like because he wasn't a skater, and I was still pretty hardcore back then.
You didn't like anybody who wasn't a skater.
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
I didn't like most skaters because they had bad styles. So I didn't
You
really
hated
like
everybody.
Pretty much, yeah. I prided myself on that, actually. So I've come a long way. But he goes, hey, man, can I talk to you for a second? I was like, yeah, okay, dude. What do you want? And he's like, hey, man, I'm in the room next to you, and I heard what happened last night, and I know you're a big guy, and she's little, but that is unacceptable, man.
Wow, good.
And I remember his face and him being what I would consider a normal person. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. Like, really? And then I asked her to go to anger management. I think she went one time, and then she punched me again for some other reason. But I always thought it was because I was so annoying. And I really am. Ask anybody that's dated me. I'm really annoying. But now I know that even if I'm really annoying, you're not allowed to beat me up. But that was a life lesson. I would never I would never date another person that would beat me.
Good.
Yeah.
Damn, it's really sad too that you blamed yourself for the beating. I'm annoying, so I deserve it.
Look, not lightly annoying.
That
That
doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, you're right, but still, I grew up in getting hit was not that crazy.
That foreign.
Yeah.
Right.
Not real bad, but definitely if you made a big mistake, getting cracked was coming.
Wow.
So I think maybe that had something to do with it, and her being Australian. Australians hitting me when I did something wrong was not. Man, this sounds so sad. It really wasn't.
I got hit once, right in the face.
When you were a kid?
I was 12 years old. I never got beat. My parents didn't do that, but my mom and I was filming a movie in Mexico. I was 12 years old when we were walking down in Monterrey, Mexico, which I think now is not the safest place, but back then it was fine.
How many movies had you been in when you were 12?
When I was 12, I had done 1, 2, 3. It's maybe my 4th or 5th.
Oh, wow. When was how old were you your first movie?
7. With Robert De Niro. I was cut out of it though. But I'm in the DVD.
You're in the deleted scenes?
In the DVD.
My biggest speaking role in a movie is in the deleted scenes. And
Which one? Which movie?
Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Oh,
Yeah.
love that movie.
I just couldn't. I didn't get it. Like I thought I was there to.
Were you skating?
Well, that was the thing.
Right. I think I remember that.
I was training at Team Quest, and my friend was friends with Kevin James, and Kevin James, Paul Blart Mall Cop, was like, "Hey man, do you know any skaters that look tough?" And he goes, "I got a pro skateboarder that trains with the pro team, and he's covered in tattooed." He's like, "Oh, done." So I got picked for this movie without auditioning for a movie. And the other guys that were in the movie were my friends because they're professional skateboarders and professional BMX riders. And they had auditioned. They were well up to speed with what was happening. I really didn't know that I was going to be speaking or anything. I thought maybe I was just going to be a tough guy. And they go, "Did you got your skateboard with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, it just so happened." "Why?" And they're like, "Because you're skating." And I was like, "Oh." And then it was like... it was a real movie. I was doing real stuff. I did stunt work and all kinds of things. It was really fun.
It was fun.
I did a radio show the whole time in the mall in a abandoned shoe store, and all I had was a desk and a chair. And I was talking to Michael in LA every day while I was in this abandoned.
Every night.
Every night,
We did
sorry.
some of those shows at like 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, so we filmed.
Wow.
I'd film all day, and then everybody else would go socialize and go to all these movie parties, and then I'd go to the shoe store and do a show by myself in this little...
And then were you on Wilshire?
He was in LA, yeah.
No, this is before Wilshire. We were at
Clubhouse.
Swing House.
Sorry, Swing House.
Oh, wow.
Our old original studio.
Wow.
I remember one night we stayed all night taping, and I got a parking ticket
Oh, wow.
because we were there like through the night until when the morning started.
Because we had to like bank one or something.
Yeah, something. I think we did 3 shows. I remember it was not the greatest.
3
content
shows
we ever
back
did.
then. It was 4-hour shows.
Yeah. Wow. I think we did 2 back to back or something crazy. I know I got there and it was like 1 a.m. I left a party to come tape with you,
Yeah.
and by the time I left, I'd gotten a parking ticket because that started at 10.
It was the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We paid rent
Oh, for sure.
to make that show work.
Yeah.
was
So
I got hit in the face.
So where did J-Lo hit you?
Where did she not hit me? My real mother, I was filming a movie in Mexico. We're Mexican. I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but we were just walking down the street, and I was with my homie. And out of nowhere, I just I spit I don't know if I was like spitting a lot when I was a kid. I was a
Yeah,
little punk skater.
but still.
I like spit and it landed right on this wall, and she saw it and went and turned around and smacked me in the face. And I was like stunned because it's never happened before.
Yeah.
And I just stared at her and I was like, "Whoa." And I just like bit my tongue and just like, walked back to the hotel room, and I was like, what the just sorry.
Sorry.
Damn it. What just happened?
Yeah.
It was wild because I'd never,
But she never hit you again.
she never hit me again or before.
Were you a bad kid?
No.
Because that doesn't seem like that bad of a thing to do.
It was not even on purpose. You know? I mean, I spit, but I
You
didn't
think
mean for it to hit the wall.
It was a weird reaction she regretted.
I don't know. We never talked about it.
You never brought it up again.
I never brought it up. And now she's not here anymore.
Oh, sorry, dude.
It's okay. Well,
Have you tried to figure it out?
why she hit me?
Because I have a weird theory.
Indulge me.
So she knows her roots, and now you're growing up, and you're not just in Hollywood, like as a
Right.
physical space, you're like in Hollywood, and she's like excited about the opportunities. Who wouldn't be? But at the same time, it's like, am I fundamentally losing the values of the old country? And now you're actually in the old country, and you do this like entitled, spoiled Hollywood kid thing in the exact place at the exact moment where she's like, not should I have raised my kid in Mexico, but like, what have I lost by not doing that? And seeing the juxtaposition of how you're this Hollywood kid, maybe she's fearing you're even worse than you are, you're on a bad path, and the old country. That was the exact moment in time that she couldn't see that happen.
Yeah, I think that's why I mentioned like this was in Mexico and
Yeah.
we're Mexican.
Right.
So I think there was probably like
And I think the Hollywood thing, being in a movie that young and then seeing you do that,
maybe
she
I
could have
don't know,
jumped
but
to,
she-
oh no, he's turning into a monster. I better react heavy.
maybe we never had that talk. We never.
Maybe that was the talk. Did you ever think of
could
that?
have been. It totally could have been.
Yeah. Like instead of having a big talk about it, maybe just a quick crack in the face and be like, hey,
Right, that's it.
don't think you're special.
And I don't, and I never have ever.
Do you think that crack did it?
I don't know if that did it,
Right.
but everything did it.
Hey, everybody, do you have eyes? Have you seen the sun?
I'm starting to notice a pattern with your ass.
But listen, you guys, if you have eyes, even if you have one, you need to protect that from the sun. And if you have expensive sunglasses, like a show pony like me has bought several times, and you lose them or you sit on them or somebody steals them because they look so good, you're like, man, I can't afford to get another one. Check out Goodr.
Yeah.
Because they're like $25.
They're $25. They're 100% polarized. They're just as good as the super expensive ones that you've had.
Have you heard the names of them?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're talking about a ginger's soul,
I'm more of a donkey
goggles.
donkey goggles guy.
Yeah, rumor has it gingers do have souls. Gooder,
Thanks.
$25.
I have half a soul.
Super lightweight. I believe in you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's everywhere you want. I got so tired of buying fancy sunglasses. And you know what? It wasn't so much losing them. It was the fear. It was that I knew the
Yeah.
day was going to come that I was going to lose and or sit on
I've
them.
lost them on the table and be like, man, somebody took them. And then I found them 2 days later. But I was in 2 days of like, you idiot. Why'd you buy those? They weren't that great anyway.
Nobody wants to live that way. Plus, they're really good at not slipping. I have a very funny shaped nose for reasons that aren't entirely clear. It's hard for me to keep sunglasses on my nose. No longer an issue thanks to our friends at Goodr. If you want to support the show and pick up a pair, Goodr is giving the Jason Ellis Show listeners free shipping on your first order. You can go to
Goodr.com/Ellis.
use promo code
Ellis
to get free shipping.
free shipping. Yeah, sorry.
Goodr offers a 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% satisfaction.
100. That's complete satisfaction.
That's one more than 99. Find your pair at Goodr.com/Ellis and use code Ellis to get free shipping.
Yep. You never were, though. I've known you for a long time now. You've never been, I'm so-and-so kind of guy.
You know what? Honestly, the only time I've ever used that was when so I don't know if you remember, but the first time we met, I was this was well over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of the show for years. And then finally I started making a name for myself and I called in and somebody picked up. I don't know if it was Kevin or what.
Yeah.
Somebody picked up and I was like, hey, I felt so stupid. But I was like, my name's Tyler Posey. I'm on this TV show. I just would love to talk to Jason. And I'm listening to the radio as it's happening and I hear you go, who the is Tyler Posey? And I was like, oh shit, no way. And then we got on the phone and talked. But that's the only time really I've ever been like, hey, I'm so-and-so.
If I could be mistaken big time, but I think that you were brought up to me as, "Hey, Teen Wolf is on the
Probably,
phone."
yeah.
And I was like, "Teen Wolf," because I had not watched your show.
And you
I had
thought it
only
was
watched Michael J. Fox because it was a long time ago, and I was definitely in a headspace where I was not going to watch a TV show called Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
I already thought I was probably too old. But
In your defense, you were.
thank you, Michael.
Not true.
But I think I probably called bull on you being, because
you're right.
I always never expected anybody famous to call the show.
Oh, I was a
So
huge
when
fan.
anyone ever said that they were so and so from something, I'd be like, "No, you're not." You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
that. Why would you call this show? Nobody's listening. That was always under that.
But that was like really one of the only. I mean, every now and then I'll be like, "Oh, that looks cool. I want that," and I'll be like, "Hey, would you guys want to collaborate on something?"
Yeah, yeah.
If like I want a cold plunge or a sauna or whatever.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. But I don't really do. I don't like to use that, and I think it's because, and I think this is where your question was leading to.
Yeah, it is.
Was I growing up as on a set, I was kind of I was around a lot of divas or whatever,
Yeah.
however you want to call it, you
Yeah.
know. But I saw this hierarchy and this tier system at a really young age and hated it.
It stuck with you.
It stuck with me, yeah. But so here's the moment that it happened. I was on set.
Robert De Niro.
I was with Robert De Niro. That's a different one. Bob. Yeah, sorry.
Who the hell are
I
you?
call him Bob. Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah,
Bobby.
Bob.
Yeah, sorry. Let's get it right.
I was on set and there's a craft service table for all the free food
Yeah.
that actors can get. And apparently there's one, so background actors. You familiar with
Yeah,
background?
I've been that a couple of times.
Yeah, the people in the background, and they get treated poorly on set, and it's horrendous, and I hate it so much. And this was my first introduction to how badly they get treated. This kid, they put out empanadas on
I love those.
on the craft service table.
Yeah.
Warm, beefy.
It's so convenient too. You can just grab them. You don't have to use a fork or anything,
Not at all. It's like a hot pocket.
right?
It's really nice.
But not that unhealthy,
Probably better for you.
for sure.
Yeah. And this kid, this background kid, probably 20 something, I was 8. He came up and grabbed an empanada, and this person literally like smacked it out of his hand. And I was watching this whole thing happen. She's like, "This is for the actors. Your table is over there." And there was like maybe saltine crackers. Like there was nothing there for
Yeah,
me. And I was like, and I was like, it affected me.
yeah.
I couldn't articulate how at that point, but I grabbed one, I put it in my pocket, and I walked over to the kid, and I was like, "Yo, do you want this?" And the look he gave me is something I've been chasing my entire life. You know?
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, "All right, I'm gonna be different.
Yeah.
I don't want to be I don't want to live by this hierarchy, this weird like tier system that is here." And so I've just done my best to be normal, and I didn't want to be associated with actors. I was embarrassed to be an actor when I was a kid, so I did my best to be like, okay, I want to be normal. I want to stay normal. I want to go to school. I want to get in trouble. I want to become a pothead. I want to drink young. I wanted to do everything.
all that.
I wanted to
Well
cover
done.
myself in tattoos. I wanted to not be seen as an actor because I was so embarrassed by.
I think that's why I liked you. When you came on the show, I could tell that you were small time in yourself, and you just wanted to be one of the boys with us. And I was like, "But you're a Teen Wolf," and you were like, "Yeah, but I don't really see myself as that." And I was like, "Man, I really like that." And then working on bikes and just wanting to live a normal life, it seemed, of sorts.
Absolutely, yeah. And now, I'm older. I really appreciate what I do. I love the business. I love acting. I love it. I'm not.
But that's what
embarrassed.
you wanted from it, to be a good actor, not to be everybody move out of my way. I'm getting
Hate that.
bottle service or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you think, I don't want to ask you to name names, but did you, not from the people who worked on the set, but from actual performers, actors? Can you think of any particular instances of diva behavior that
Yeah.
really blew your mind?
Yeah, definitely.
What's the most mind-blowing thing you can
I'll tell you after the show.
Yeah, who it was. I'm not,
who it
yeah.
was. But I mean, just like throwing tantrums on set, calling people out for no reason, and then also making an entire crew wait on set while they're in their trailer for hours.
Yeah.
It was
Like
it's-
Axl Rose kind of stuff.
I don't know.
Well, Axl Rose used to make, not the staff, the crowd wait hours
What?
and hours. Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, I never went to a Guns N' Roses concert, not for more than, before I knew he was a douche, I was more of a once again, going back to skateboarding, like Metallica, AC/DC, everybody else sucks kind of thing. And Guns N' Roses were good. Appetite for Destruction was awesome, but they tried too hard to look away, and I was like, you're posers, like
That's usually they're overcompensating.
yeah, that's why
That's usually where
why
that
I didn't
comes
like
from.
them. But they were known for, because that's the other thing, Metallica cared about their fans.
Right.
Like they did 4-hour shows because they'd say, "Do you want to keep going?" And if the crowd was like, "Yes, we do," they'd keep going. And Guns N' Roses were the complete opposite. And then I guess at one point they were on the road together, and Axl couldn't sing or something, and then James Hetfield saw him smoking cigarettes backstage and was like, "Wait, your voice is not doing well, and you're smoking cigarettes and drinking as a singer? You don't care about your fans." And he was well known for showing up very late to concerts where, if you're in the pit, and like I've been to Metallica concerts where it's hard to stay to breathe, and if James doesn't come out for 2 hours and then plays for 4 hours, he's killing people. Well, maybe not killing, but definitely putting kids in hospital, like dehydrated and passing out and all that stuff.
Pissing on themselves.
They're all yes.
Is that what you're gonna say?
Precisely. Everybody's peeing their pants.
Oh,
Bare
yeah,
minimum.
you definitely can't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think he can. If anything, I think he got off on it.
Yeah.
I wish I could say the same, but I fell victim to that more than once.
What? Peeing yourself?
No, being an egotistical douche and having tantrums, and I never made everybody wait because I always cared about the fans.
Right.
But I definitely thought I was.
Why do you think you were doing that?
I think because you had the reaction of I never want to be like that, and I remember thinking when somebody did that I wanted to not be the one. I didn't want to be the bitch. One day I'm gonna be that, and I'm gonna bitch you out for being the bitch. Not seeing.
Where does that come from, you think?
I think from maybe not thinking that I'm special.
Right.
And one day I'm going to show you.
Right, totally. Yeah.
I think I was trying to impress somebody that I don't care to impress anymore.
Totally.
But it took me a long time, and I fell victim to it more than once, because in skateboarding, when I was really good, I think I had that attitude. Definitely not as over the top like that, but I definitely had that attitude where I thought that I was cooler than you, and if you had the wrong shoes on, I probably couldn't take you serious. And I didn't see the kindness in your heart. I just saw, like, why would you wear those? Like, do you not understand what's going on in this world? Like Skechers, the shoe company. I hate that shoe company still. And
just because of their dorky look?
Yeah, no, because I remember when it first came out, I was like, that's the worst shoe company ever. And then I remember walking down the street once and seeing a store, which was a Skechers store, and I was like, whoa, they made it. And it made me hate the world.
Right.
Because I was like, you all bought it enough to make them money. How dumb are you? Like Nickelback selling 40 million albums. I was like, I hate the world for that. Like, you're telling me 40 million people are that stupid? Like, don't talk to me, 40 million people. And if you add it, I don't know, I'm very good at math, but I would just assume I shouldn't talk to anybody anymore, because that's a lot of people. And it bummed me out.
It's pretty disheartening sometimes, right?
That's what it was. It was disheartening.
Yeah.
I was like, we're better than this, people.
Yeah, the world
We're
can
better
break
than
your heart.
Skechers, but we're not.
I own a pair of Skechers. I bought them recently for my first pair ever.
Recently.
Uh-oh.
Take it and go home.
I actually
Man.
do need to take.
I wish you had brought them here today. I wouldn't have.
You've caught them on fire and
I
not put them
wouldn't
out?
have. Yeah, I accidentally set fire to Tyler's shoes today when he got in my cold plunge, and I shot my flamethrower over him while he was in the cold plunge, as you do. But I just you point it down to get the gas into the nozzle to get extra fire. And when I pointed it down, I wasn't looking, and I accidentally set fire to your shoes. But if they had been Skechers, I would have stayed on it. I'd still be out there melting them into the concrete.
You know what? They're pretty damn comfy.
Yeah.
They're pretty comfy.
So are Crocs, but I ain't wearing them.
I don't wear Crocs either.
I figured out the Crocs thing over the weekend.
Yeah.
Because Crocs are like super hot, have been for a minute.
Yeah.
They're this generation's Doc Martens. Because Doc Martens were orthopedic shoes. People
They were?
got
Yeah.
made fun of for when they first came out.
What are those other sandal ones that everybody...
Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
Birkenstocks.
Aren't they more this generation's Birkenstocks?
But just hear me out on
I
this.
wear Birkenstocks. I do own Birkenstocks. Is that okay?
I mean, you don't care, so I get your angle.
I don't care about what.
It's fashion.
I care about. I mean,
Looking
I like,
good?
I like to look.
Dude, you had a video the other day on your Instagram of look at my mustache with like bread in it. You don't care.
I'm one of the people.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to do. I think I'm special. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online service that gives you therapy without going to the therapist. I have a lot of issues. I am what you called a mentally challenged, frustrated friggin' maniac. I need help. I need a lot of help. And I've talked to some therapists before that weren't very good. The one time I talked to this weird like Russian lady, and she was like not smart, and I didn't go to school, and she said some stuff where I was like, "Oh, you're dumber than me." And I got rid of her, but I had to go there, and then I had to leave, and then I had to go somewhere else and find a person that was smarter than me. It wasn't very. I didn't have to drive very far, but with BetterHelp, you can do it on the intranets. And you can go and you can find a person and they can help you. And if you don't like them because they're a weird Russian lady, you can just click off and then find somebody else. So BetterHelp's very convenient. Go to betterhelp.com/Ellis and get 10% off your first month. That's HELP. Betterhelp.com/Ellis. Maybe less now, but I find if I think I look good, it makes me happy. Sure. So I don't really care.
I have the same thing, but my version of looking good is looking like
food in your mustache.
Not good.
Well, you're compensating the other way.
Exactly.
You're so cool that you need to compensate.
No, I don't know if that's it.
Oh, he didn't like that.
Just say yes.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah.
We're both compensating, but in the complete.
That's Brandon.
You're already so cool.
This is Brandon Parkhurst.
Hi.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
My guru.
He's your guru.
Nah, I mean we call each other guru.
Yeah, call him guru.
Yeah,
too.
he's here because I saw Tyler Posey talk about a clothing company that is for mental health, and I was like, wait, because he's like part owner, and I'm like, oh, I like Tyler Posey, and I like the logo, and I would like to wear it just because it's Tyler Posey. That's all I was thinking. But when you said that it was for, not just a clothing line, it was more about mental health and stuff. And as a person that has gone through a lot when it comes to that, and I'm on the other side and I'm doing really well, I would helping people helps me, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Hell yeah,
lickety split as soon as I saw that.
It's so cool.
Nobody's doing that, and I love clothing. I love wearing stuff.
And this is like
stuff,
skate surf clothing. Like one of the dudes who started this company also started Audio. Remember Audio?
Yeah, yeah.
That's one of the dudes who started this company. So it's very much a skate surf.
I met him when I was a little kid. Well, 17.
John?
Yeah.
No shit. Sorry.
It's all right. I was at Chris Miller's house, and he was Chris Miller's agent.
Right, yeah.
And this was back when I didn't know that people had agents. Mm-hmm. And Chris was, to me, the greatest skateboarder that ever lived. Still, arguably, to me, he is. Just the selection of tricks and how he did them, I still say nobody can beat that. And he was his manager and Gator's manager. And I just remember thinking, whoa, you got a manager? Like, what the hell? And they were talking about money. And I remember, like I was living at his house and I had zero money to my name and was like, wait, you pay him on top of what you get? And he does what for you? Like I could barely grasp what it was.
It's still confusing, dude.
Yeah, because a lot of it is not real, but it was very impressive to me. And I remember I didn't even talk to him because I was just like, wow, that is so big time. He doesn't even want to know me. I just sat there like fly on the wall style. But I never forgot it because I think that's the first person I ever met that was a manager.
Cool.
And it was of athletes, and I didn't know that skateboarders had that.
Right.
And I think, I could be wrong, but I think that was the first skateboarder that had one. Really? Like I think that Chris and Gator and Tony were probably the first of its kind, where there was enough money in skateboarding that you could have one and it wouldn't be just for show.
Right. They needed somebody to look out for them.
Yeah, because he had so many things happening.
Exactly.
There were so many business opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, before that, there was, like, being my manager would be like, yeah, man, you can have half my sandwich, I guess.
It's a good sandwich, though, right?
No.
So Tyler, Brandon, like, what is the 20-second pitch? What is Portal? It's clothing. It's a lifestyle brand. It's obviously about mental health and wellness. Break it down.
Like we like to say, we are what Patagonia is to the environment, Portal is to mental health.
Okay.
That's like the 22nd, and we're multifaceted. So we have the apparel. That's the talking point. So through my years of playing music and skating and surfing, I've met a lot of people, and Tyler's one of them. And the apparel is like, what is that? I know Tyler, that looks cool. And then you hear about mental health. So then what that does is starts a conversation essentially. And then from there we have digital online.
Yeah, it's more than just, because there's a lot of advocates for mental health nowadays, and it's all just talking about it. But we actually have like action that we're doing along with it. We have online courses so there's a lot of other people involved with the company. A lot of them are these like, we call them the misfits of consciousness. Like it's this dichotomy of somebody who's a lot like you.
Yep.
Hardcore on the surface, looks badass, has a kind of a badass lifestyle.
Which also means if you're hardcore, not all the time, but you've been through some stuff, and if you're on the other side of it, you've done a lot of things to fix yourself. Because to me, a frustrated youth, sure, that's me. Been there, and I lived many years being that, and it got me to, being that tough and resilient, got me through a lot of things. But then when I started to look back, look over the top of what I'm doing and what's really going on, I got a lot of issues and I want to fix them. I'm fortunate enough to stay alive long enough to go, I got this far with being that tough from my childhood and being resilient because of it. But then at the end, being successful and not being happy, you start to ask questions like, why am I, like pro surfers and successful musicians that aren't that happy and are addicted to a lot of things, drugs and alcohol and all that stuff. And then you start to try, and if you're lucky, you start to try to clean your game up, and you realize that it's not so much the drug, it's the mental health. You're self-medicating. You always have been to try and survive.
Right.
And I think the difference is here is you go to their website and there's places to go. There's like you're doing a what is it called? Where you can actually
a course
and a retreat.
Yeah, retreat.
So, yeah,
like the pyramid's like, so you start the conversation, then we have these online offerings where the whole thing that's cool about what we're doing is we're not here to tell anybody what to do. We're here to share our experience. And that's a powerful thing, because whenever someone tells me what to do, I tell them to F off.
F off.
You know what I mean? So our whole vibe is
kick
like,
rocks.
we don't know what you should do. This is what we're doing, and check it out. And so we have these courses, like Koa Smith's an owner. We have
Koa Smith is pro surfer.
Yeah.
pro surfer,
Super rad.
Brandon Turner, skateboarder. Brandon Novak from Jackass, and
Skater.
we kind of launched with a lot of masculinity. We're bringing in a bunch of feminine energy next, but essentially, yeah. So you come on, like he has a course, you can tell about it. But right now, Koa Smith's course is up. It's a 7-part. Every day you watch like a couple minutes of it, and it's just this is what I do. I meditate,
for a routine,
ice
for like a
bath,
morning routine.
I write on the mirror. I talk to myself, this, that, and then like everybody has their own expression of what they're doing. And then what will happen is you can go deeper if you like that. Then we have more online. We're building. We've been working on it for 4 years. Me and John Humphrey. And then Tyler's been in for a few years now. And then, but then we have retreats. So like, then it's like, okay, come in person and spend 3 days with us. And we're going to call that like the deep dive. And we're going to, I'm a somatic psychotherapist. And I was crazy. And I found passion in watching people heal themselves, So we hold space for people to have experiences of themselves. It's like really key to not try and change anybody.
Right.
Not tell them what to do. Just be like, hey, like we just went to Mammoth and we laughed, we farted, we ran around, and we got some serious stuff. It was just like a perfect everything. And when we left, we just us being together and being authentic with each other, it was like amazing.
Yeah, it's really, really rad.
I think it's, to me, from mixed martial arts and learning all the little things that you can do to maintain your body so that you can keep training that hard, helped me. Because at first I'm like, yeah, green drink, whatever. I was so far out of it when I was a pro skateboarder, I didn't even stretch. And then mixed martial arts and watching these other guys and cold plunges and breath work and all these stuff. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I don't feel that much different. But when you find what's right for you and you add these things to your life, it's just a fact that it helps. And the brain is the same as your body. It's a muscle.
If not more, like it needs
Right.
more tending to.
And then there's all these things that you do, like when meditation and all these things where I usually have been pretty negative towards that stuff because I've always had that hardcore,
looks lame.
I'm a tough guy. I don't do stuff.
Yeah, you think it's
But if you maybe one time you meditate, I'm like, I don't feel that much different. Well, do it regularly, and then do the cold plunge and do the breath work and do all these things. You know, eat right. People ask me, how do I get off it? Or, man, you quit smoking weed. How'd you do that? Or, wait, you quit kratom. Like a lot of people ask me all these questions. You know, like I go to meeting. I don't do one thing. I do all these things.
Right.
And I think that I've always done the thing that people ask me. I pick one, and it doesn't work. I'm like, I went to a meeting every Tuesday, but I didn't read the book. I didn't do the steps. I didn't go through any of it. It's tedious, it's boring, and it's lame.
Discipline.
You know, but if you want it, you know, and I think more than ever these days, people struggle with a lot because everybody's on social media and everybody's showing their best side, which is not completely fake, but sometimes a lot, you know, and then you think everybody else is doing so well and you're over here in your own head thinking that you're not, and, you know, down the road you don't get money, you're struggling, you break up with your girlfriend or whatever, and then the next thing you know, you're on this slope to nowhere, you're going down, and I think a lot of people don't push this kind of thing. Like Tyler Posey's a cool guy, he's got a lot of influence, and it's more about what's Tyler Posey doing that's cool. You know, but Tyler, you've been through a lot of stuff, you know, like you've faced addiction and all the kinds of stuff as well.
Yeah.
And you've never been better because you've been putting in the work.
And when you don't put in the work, dude, it's horrible. Like you said,
Yeah.
you go down this horrible spiral. But now I'm at a point now where it's the first time I've actually had a routine in my life. Like I started acting at such a young age and never developed a routine. I didn't need to. You know, work was so inconsistent. I would work for 9 months out of the year and then nothing. And so I was like, I didn't know what to do. And then I started smoking weed and then harder stuff. And then I had no routine other than being unhealthy.
Right.
You know, and so.
And then when you're young and you do unhealthy things, you don't really feel it that quick.
Right.
You know, it's like I did tons of coke and I did heroin at one point and I did all the ecstasy anybody would ever give me. And I can still skate. You know, I drank after every contest. I just went to Tampa and people asked me, like, have you ever been to Tampa? And I was like, I used to come here every year for the Tampa Pro-Am contest. And it was the worst contest every year for me because there was this strip club called Mars Venus. And when Mike Frazier told me that if you wear like slippery pants and you put your out and they grunt it and you can, I'm going to get flagged, but you can do stuff that I thought it was so cool. So I just went to Mars Venus every night and got super wasted and I never did well. I never did good at that contest. And I went 10 years consecutively and I never thought about it until I was telling these people that I was there every year. And I was like, I don't think I ever made the finals in Tampa. And I don't think I cared because my sponsor didn't tell me not to. Right. You know, they were like, I think maybe in the end they just fired me. But every year they flew me to Tampa. They got me a hotel room and I never made the final. I never got a photo in the magazine. I never got a mention. But man, people were talking about me at the strip club because I was the king in there.
Good. Felt good, right? See, that's the thing is like going down this the dark path, whatever you want to call it. There's nothing funner like at that point. And then you get to a point where you've just ruined your life and you kind of don't know how to climb back out, you know? Yeah. So that's kind of where I was. I knew that there was this, I always had this sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, like spirituality that was calling me to something bigger. I felt a huge purpose inside of me.
Yeah, me too.
To the point where it got so annoying. I was tired of hearing that I just did a bunch of coke and I just
numbed
did a
it
bunch
out.
of drugs, numbed it out.
Right.
Got so high on E. I didn't want to feel that anymore. This calling. I was tired of it. I was like, it felt like a burden. And then, you know, I got sober 2 years later. I was like, oh, back. I really feel this thing inside of me that's bubbling. And that's when we really started talking about him bringing me onto this portal thing and just sharing my experience. Because my experience is, like you said, like when I wasn't sober, if somebody told me like, hey, you need to get sober, I never would have listened. But if they showed me like, here's how I had my journey, here's what I did, then it's a little bit more digestible.
I also think that you need to, I hate to say it, but like not rock bottom, but you need to have have hit some dead ends hard for you to consider it. Because I think at one point someone was like, hey man, you realize you're doing a lot more coke than anybody else. Like that's a dangerous amount of coke you just did. And I'd be like, I'm still pro, so I don't see you beating me in a contest. You know, like that was my justification. Like if you couldn't skate as good as me, then don't tell me how much coke I can do.
I had that same thing. I was like, I'm working.
Right.
I'm a working actor. I'm fine. I don't need to slow down.
Yeah.
You know?
But then it does come to an end, and if you're lucky and you live long enough, because that's the other thing I think a lot of people in my past that never got to see rock bottom, they just died. You know, like they were doing great and they were partying with me, and their buddy couldn't take it as good as I could, or depending on how, I don't know if good is a good word for it, but you know, I got friends, they died so young, because now, you know, dying, you know, when you're 30, I was like, he had a good run. And now being in my 50s, I'm like, he did not have a good run. He didn't get to grow up. Because I feel like when you're in your 30s, you might think you know what's going on, but you don't. Right. You know, there's going to be another decade or two where you're really going to wake up and really see a bigger picture. And if you're stuck in these things that I've been stuck in, you might not ever see it. You know, like to me, I feel like the first time I've ever been me is the last 50 or so days.
Sure, yeah.
And I know that I've got a long way to go, and there's more to come.
And that's the kind of person that we really want to appeal to, is the person, all of us who have been at a point in our lives where we're like, I don't want to take care of myself. That's lame.
Yeah.
You know, and that's...
It's a lot of work.
It is, but that's like the rewarding... That's what we're trying to also show, is like, yo, this is a lot of work, but what's the alternative?
Yeah.
Sucking and like...
Yeah, and the lot of work thing is, to me, if you work really hard on anything, it doesn't have to be sober or anything. Like if you work really hard on something, a craft, you know, your parenting skills, all these other things, helping other people, I never believed it, but even though I'd already lived it, like I put in so much work to be a pro skateboarder, and the fruits of that I will never forget, and I'm so grateful for it. And when I see other people, just living their lives, and I was almost there, but it got kind of tough, and there really wasn't any money in it, and I just bowed out. It's like I was talking about on my solo show about it last night. To me, being good at something, and I'm not talking about just sports and all that stuff, being a singer, but it's a godlike thing. It's like we're all very special, and if you don't put in this work, because nobody can be the greatest singer in the world. But I saw a video recently of a young girl singing again with a guy on a piano. And when she started singing, everybody started crowding around because she was really good at singing and she was a young girl. But there's no doubt in my mind that this young girl has been singing since she was a baby. And she's put in so much work that as soon as she opened her mouth, people that were walking past on the street stopped and was like, holy crap. And it really is quite an amazing thing to watch somebody who has put in that amount of work. The talent that you see, it's not talent, like Conor McGregor. It's not talent, it's passion. You put in the work. Everybody is talented. They just didn't follow through. It's like the 1,000 hours, 10 years or whatever you want to say. If you put in that work, you can be so special. And we're all capable of it. And it's the same as, like, if you're in a dark place from your childhood and you've been numbing yourself, you put in the work and you can get something out of it that it at the time when you're about 4 years in, or maybe you're a couple of weeks in, you can't see it, but it is there for everybody. And now to me, it's like, to be good at skateboarding, to be good at radio, to be good at comedy, to be good at not being on drugs and alcohol. Like, I want that, but I don't think I ever saw it like that. I was just like, yeah, I'm fine. Honestly, smoking weed is making it safer for everybody else I'm around, and not realizing that that's me hiding. That's me. That's my excuse to stay numb.
Totally, dude.
So I think this clothing company is not a clothing company, really. It's more of a, I was going to wear a t-shirt every now and then because I thought you just owned a piece of it, and I want to support Tyler Posey. But when I talked to Brandon and know more and found out more about it and the situation that I'm in, and all the people that message me, because I am one of those people that, whether it's a good idea or not, I talk about it on my social media about my struggles. And I've been in the darkest place I've ever been in last year, and I'm coming out, and I've never been happier, and I've never felt more positive about what is to come. And it's because I've put in so much work. You know, I'm trying so hard to do the right thing and be a better person because I know that I'm a good person. I know I got a lot of love in my heart, but I've been hiding and running and numbing myself to the point where my track record looks like I'm an asshole. And I'm almost convinced of it. You know, like if you had asked me 6 months ago, I'd be like, I'm just a dick. You know, that's just the way it is for me.
I never would have said that about you.
Well, maybe you just saw the good sides. But...
No, I saw the bad side.
Well, anyway, I'm just saying that I was so numb from it that I was convinced that maybe it's best if you just stay clear of people.
Sure, dude. I've had that.
You know, because you're just gonna all you do is hurt people.
I used to be that way too. Yeah.
Right. So, but I think that that's the case at all anymore. And I know a lot of people have reached out to me, and I don't really have the answers.
Right.
But more and more lately, from doing all this work, I do have a lot more advice to give. You know, like I'm not telling you how to live your life, but I can tell you what I've been doing. And that's the other thing I think from the radio back in the day, where I used to talk about my childhood, and I'd be like, look at me, I'm a successful radio host. You know, I got a New York Times best-selling book. I can't even read and go to school. You know, if I could do it, anybody could do it. And there were a lot of young guys listening to me that were like, yeah, that is a real crappy upbringing, and to make money out of having no education and all that stuff. If he can do it, I could do it. And I think when it comes to addiction, I know that there's things that you can do. Like I said, don't do it my way. Like it's only this way or the highway.
Right.
Just
Lead by
there's
example.
so many things, especially now, because of the mental health that people talk about. That's why I talk about being bi. You talk about it enough. Oh, I've stopped talking about it. No, because maybe you think you're fine, but there's somebody out there that isn't, and they're terrified to be themselves. And if you don't want to listen to my show anymore, so be it. I don't need the money anymore. I mean, money's cool. I just don't need it like I need to be healthy and happy. That's what's way more important to me. And I think that there's so much more that we know now in the common world. You don't have to be like some rich billionaire guy to get the best mental health or the best advice or the best therapy and all this, the best rehabs. There's a bunch of stuff now. Just same with MMA, same with body fitness, stem cells. There's so many things now that are available to people that you can do to make you a better you. And the go like this going on a thing with you and doing like all the things that you're gonna do. Maybe you don't like it all and you don't want to do it. But if you do take them up on it, there's no way you're not going to be better. It's like when I say people go to therapy. It's like, man, I don't go to therapy. Like, I don't have the money. I'm like, if you have insurance, there's the better help that is not that expensive and you can do it on the phone. Maybe it doesn't help. It's definitely not going to make you worse. Right. So why not check it out? And don't check it out. It's like, I want to be a great singer. You don't check out being a great singer for 2 weeks. You check out being a great singer for 10 years. All day. You think about it all day with like passion. Yeah. And if you do that, there is no fail.
It takes discipline for sure. And that's when you first get started, it's daunting. You're like, oh God, I don't want to do this. Right. But then the reward is just you do, I don't know, there's something called a runner's high or something, or like when you're running and you feel like you're gonna pass out and then you keep going and it's like, oh wait, I'm fine. It's you get over this little hurdle and it just becomes like a way of life. And then there's people who are like, who don't want to hear it, you know, but need the help, but are kind of in that weird like lame phase where it's like getting help is lame, therapy's lame, whatever. I don't want to do that. I think we're really, for this company, Portal, and for me, my experience, I'm really trying to like bridge that gap of people who are like think it's lame and people who actually want to do it. Because like Brandon said, we fart. Like we're not just like these like gurus who are in this transcendental like phase. We're normal dudes who have this really funny sense of humor, and we've also been through some pretty gnarly experiences, and we're like covered in tattoos, and you know what I mean. Like I feel like it's an interesting image that we have.
Yeah.
And we struggle.
And we
still struggle.
Still struggle.
I talk smack on Wim Hof guy. I was like, I go in the cold plunge and I just cuss. That's how I get through 3 minutes. And then I did a Hawk versus Wolf the other day with this other pro skateboarder, young guy, who talked about this breath work that he does before he goes in the ocean every day. I was like, all right, I'll bite. I'm like, after the show, show me it. Like, I don't know if it was because he was a skater.
Exactly, right?
But I did what he told me to do in front of him, and I felt it straight away.
Right.
And then I used it in Florida the other day. I'm tired. I'm not sleeping because I go to bed late and I got to get up early and do stuff. And I'm like, man, I am flat right now. And I'm doing 3 comedy shows a day. And I did this breathwork thing on the beach before I went out. And it fully works.
And do you think you were more susceptible to like, let me see what this is about because he was a skater
Because he was really good.
at skating?
Yeah.
See, you know what I mean though? There's that little
I'm like, if he's that good, man, he might know something.
right.
Yeah.
There's that connective tissue that's like, well, if they're doing it, then maybe I could too.
Yeah, I always use the example of the Matrix.
hot in here, Brianna.
You know, where it's just like the Matrix doesn't look like an old lady that makes cookies. That's just what Keanu Reeves needed the Matrix to look like to actually listen to her. Sometimes it's not so much about the message can be a one size fits all. You just need to get it from a fortune cookie, from a fortune teller, from a pro skater, from a Hallmark card.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's what's so special about Portal, because if you have Anthony, we talked about this a little, but if you have Anthony Robbins, it's one guy saying a message. This is what I am, and this is what you need to do. It's what's special about Portal. Nothing wrong with that. That's
You mean
amazing.
Tony Robbins?
Oh yeah, Anthony Robbins.
Yeah. But
Tony
that one flew over my head.
Does he? Yeah, me too. Is that his real name, Anthony?
Every Tony's an Anthony, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
duh.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Anthony Robbins.
Like Robert De Niro being Bob.
Are you personal friends with him?
People who listen
Why do you
to
use
him call
Anthony?
him
I'm not
Tony.
letting you go
People
with that.
Who know him call him Anthony.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, yeah. But
Are you sure?
no, I'm not at all.
See, I'm curious, who are the sorts of people that you're hearing from? Who are the people that you're reaching so far? I guess particularly what I'm interested in knowing is, you know, like the sorts of anxieties of the age change as we move through history. What are the sorts of problems that people are dealing with right now? What is the face of it now that maybe is different from what you might have seen as a professional 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago?
So the kids right now are struggling so bad, being stuck on screens, stuck in their room, terrified to go outside. Their common thing I hear when I work with kids is like, you guys screwed it up. When I was a kid, I had my BB gun and my skateboard, and I surfed, and I was out in the morning, and I came back when the street lights came on. And yeah, it was like I was out in the world going for it. I was with my friends. We fought and cried and did all that stuff. Kids these days, right when you hear them, they're like, I have anxiety, depression. They know all these terms of what's going on. I'm terrified to leave the house. So we get so much of that, so much anxiety, suicidal. And then, older people that, it's such a broad gamut, but people who are older and just want to level up. Hey, you guys, I have money, I have all these things, but there's something when I look at you guys, when I look at you in the eyes, I don't have that spark in my eyes. So we hear some of that too. So we get the wide spectrum, and that's what's awesome is we have so many different examples for these kids or adults to come and have an experience, right? So it's all, everybody, we have something for everybody essentially. And what we're hearing is anxiety, depression, suicide, drug addiction.
No matter what you have, too, your bank account could be at max capacity, and your friend group, or you have the success. There's still a lot. I mean, we had all of that.
We did it. I was like,
then-
as soon as I get rich and famous, I'll be
all
happy.
good, yeah.
And then I was rich and famous, and
It was worse
Scott
than ever.
Green went and got my sandwich, and he was like, I'm here to pick up my sandwich for Jason. And he was like, you mean the angry guy that comes in here looking all... And I was like, I'm not angry. And I remember hearing his talk with the sandwich guy, and I was like, wait, it's the guy that I don't know that makes a sandwich knows me as the angry guy?
Angry guy, yeah. Well, you know what's so crazy about that? It's a great point, because I spent my entire life trying to manage my external reality in hopes that I'd be happy
Right.
some point, and that day never came. And my big switch was when I realized that I needed to face my internal reality. And as soon as I started to face my internal reality, everything that I thought I was striving to do outside of myself just kind of fell into place. And that's a hard thing to understand. Because the way I was raised, my dad was like, are you crying right now? Get out of this room.
Yeah.
Strap up your bootstraps. And if I was angry, my dad brought more anger on top. You know what I mean? So for me to learn that it's all an internal place, like when I start working, and the thing that really benefited me with that was getting with other people in those places.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of stuff by myself, sure, but when you get in a room with people and you go, you know what, I felt like a burden to my dad when I was a kid.
Yeah, me
You
too.
say some deep stuff like that to somebody in a container for 3 days or whatever, like and you say me too, and we're connecting in that place, something's happening in my body. You know?
I never saw my father cry. My stepmom told me that when they had to put Bubby down as a dog that he really liked, and I was already living over here, so I was an adult, like 30s, late 30s, and she was like, yeah, he cried. And I remember going, really?
Yeah.
Because I never saw it. That's how tough he was. I heard one time he cried.
That's the second manliest reason to cry. The only
What's the first?
That if they have to put down your horse.
Yeah, put down your
Yeah, treat like a cowboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was watching the San Diego State basketball game with my dad just a few months ago, the finals. And I don't know if you guys watch basketball, but this guy sunk this shot. San Diego sunk the shot. 2 seconds left. My dad stands up, looks at me, and starts walking over to hug me with the tear in his eye. And I'm like,
He doesn't cry, but he cried for a game.
It took that dude to sink a basket for you to freaking cry and give me a hug. I was like, what?
You know, some of that tear was for a bunch of other stuff that he held in.
It totally was, and I loved it because I've done my work. That's the other thing. It's like I'm all resentful growing up or through my life. I'm resentful, this and that. Why can't this just go that way? Skechers is that way. Just kidding. But whatever it is.
I'm joking about sketches now. Right?
No. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like that. And then I realize, that it's like, it's all a trigger of some place inside of me where I didn't get seen. I work through those things, and all of a sudden, you know this already, but it lightens it up for me, right?
Yeah.
It just makes it softer, more compassion. Let people live and let live, essentially.
Yeah, I feel like I have more compassion, and it's easier for me to show it recently because of how much I've gone through lately. Mm-hmm. Like a lady was talking to me on the weekend about she was like, I don't know who you are. And I was like, yeah, no, nobody does, relax. And she was like asking me questions, and I was like, oh, radio show, like Sirius XM. Wait a minute. I think my husband loved you. And I was like, yeah, maybe. And she's like, did you have like a boxing event? I was like, yeah. She's like, you are the guy. He died 5 years ago from alcoholism or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. She's like, oh, no, it's fine. I'm completely past it. And then started talking, and I started to see her eyes get glassy.
Yeah.
So she's playing off that she's not. And I was like, look, it's really, I'm really sorry. And then like she was also punishing me. Like she was talking and nobody else was around me. And I know me, I can't stand those people. And usually I'd be like, oh my God, like, can somebody, I'm usually looking around like, can somebody get me out of this? But instead I remember looking around and I saw another girl that was there to help make sure I was doing this event. And she looked at me like, you're getting punished. And I was like, yeah, but it's yes, she's talking a lot. Maybe she doesn't talk to a lot of people, and I want to help her, and I like her. She's not punishing me in the slightest.
Right.
I really like her. I'm connecting with her because
Right.
I know this pain, and I know what it's like to talk about pain in a way to tell people that it doesn't hurt.
Right.
Because you've been raised in this way where it's not, and she's a female, but she was you could tell she was raised in a way where you don't
Suppress it.
you suppress it. Right. It's fine. I'm totally fine. Yeah. I'm like, you're not. You know what I mean? And it's okay to let it out. Like it's actually healthy.
Yeah. Well, think about the first time when you were a kid that you felt anger or sadness or fear. Like when you're young, like you don't have to think of the exact, but as a kid, when I first felt it, my dad said, are you angry? I'll give you something more angry, right? So the first message I tell myself is if I feel my anger,
fight it.
Then I'm going to be left. He's just going to turn his back on me. He's going to come harder. If I cry,
Come harder?
then they're going to withdraw their love from me. Right, they're going to withdraw their love from me. So all I learned as a kid, it means, if I bring my emotions, then I'm bad and people will leave or come by you. So that program just gets set and we just suppress. And then I keep using my dad as an example, but then I go, if I'm this way, my dad will pay attention to me. So I'm pushing away all of my authenticity over here for all my life, right? And this is not bad. This is the way it works. And then I smoke a joint when I'm 12 because I have all this stuff over here. And I'm trying to be this way to be seen by the world. And I smoke a joint and I'm like, I don't have to feel any of that. Mm-hmm. Whoa. I want more of that stuff. So then
Yeah.
I do that until I'm old. And then I create all this wreckage or all this crazy stuff. And then I stop and all that baggage comes up, right?
Yeah.
And all these ways to sift through and the pain of that. So I keep saying, but in that place, connecting with other people and talking through those places to start to learn how to feel. That's what we do in sessions or workshops. It's like same. So that woman starts to cry, like, hold on a second. Are you having something happen? No, I'm not fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to hold space for that. And that comes through.
Let me ask you this. What's the difference between our generation and the kids today? Like you're saying, they're depressed, they're on their phones, they don't go outside. Do they find it hard to express their emotions similar to us, or is it a different way?
Yeah, I think that they find it hard to, for sure. The world will not hold emotions, right? No one's going to hold. But the kids these days, I mean, there's way more medications. So medications are suppressing, right?
Yeah.
And then we have parents. When a kid, like a lot of kids I work with, they live at home. They're past 18. Their parents don't push them out of the house because parents are terrified. I don't want to be responsible. I don't want to push them into any kind of boundary. Like they just my dad's like, get out of the house. You know what I mean? But so it's like, there's no boundary for them. They have no reason to challenge themselves. They have no reason to take risks or do anything. They're terrified. And then there's a victim mentality. I'm this way because the world is doing this to me.
And you mentioned, I'm sorry, all the self-diagnosing that goes on as well. You know what I mean? If you feel
you're like
anxious, then you go, why do I feel anxious? And they go, well, you probably have anxiety. And like, yeah, everybody feels anxious sometimes. So you're not a professional.
Totally.
There's a difference.
Yeah, and then they use that as a weapon, right?
Why do you think parents raise their kids today in a way where they're so scared for them to go outside?
Because they're terrified of something bad happening. You have fentanyl on the rise. You have kids overdosing. You have kids committing suicide. So I know he would be okay with it. John had his son. When we were creating Portal, we got a call. He's smoking weed. He's depressed. And I'm sitting here going, maybe we should set some boundaries with him. So because like I wanted to feel my dad in a loving way.
Yeah.
I just felt his hardness, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, we're trying to set boundaries. We get a call. We're in the trailer at the Portal place, and his son's on the railroad tracks, wanting to, off himself. You know? So it's like the terror of, what do I do if I send him away or send him to rehab or set a boundary? He's gonna say screw you and maybe kill himself. They call it loving them to death. That's what parents are doing today. They're loving their kids.
But why do you think that is? Why are today's parents like that?
Because they don't want to do their own work of feeling their own emotions.
Right.
They don't want to. So
because they were raised by parents that didn't show emotion.
Right. So when I had an emotion, it wasn't that my dad was consciously going, I like, you're wrong. My dad was like, ew.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel that. My dad never felt that. So like, that's the chain we're trying to break, right? Parents don't want to feel their terror. I have clients that are kids. As soon as they come in, I say, I need to meet. The wrong person's in here. Your mom needs to be in here. Mom comes in and then goes to a treat, like goes and takes care of herself because she's saying they're projecting their pain onto the kid and the things they didn't do in their life onto the kid. And so they don't want to feel something, right?
Yeah.
So when you wrap it back to them, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm terrified. And they can see all the behaviors running out inside of the kid. So essentially it's terrifying for them.
Isn't there also, I'll use the example of like kidnapping, right? Like statistically, the likelihood that a stranger is going to nab your kid off the street is like basically statistically non-existent. But if you're a parent, it's the most terrifying thing that you can imagine.
People talk about it a lot.
What's the Tim Robbins, Sean Penn movie where based on the book? That's my mental image of that. Is the two guys taking turns in the basement. I just like it's the most.
I think that about my daughter.
It's the most disgusting thing that I can think of. So it's very unlikely to happen, but there's 7 billion people on the planet. It happens all the time, even though it's statistically unlikely to happen. Yeah. So you can always find a fresh story, and it's not only the media, but the media paints as lurid a picture as possible because if it bleeds, it leads. This attracts people because it's so repellent. It's such a nightmare to contemplate. So as a parent, what you need to do is say, it's okay for you to go wander around town, even though I know I am taking the slight risk that could happen because they undervalue the fact that they are also doing damage. You probably won't open your kid to something terrible if you make them free. you fail to account for the fact that you're also guaranteeing something not as bad, but pretty bad in its own right is going to happen by you not letting them out from under the wing.
100%.
And that manifests itself on drugs,
Right.
abduction, a million things.
Yeah, we love life.
Yeah.
It's weird to piss it away with such a potential.
I was mad, and I think just coming back to what we were talking about it feeling out of character. I think I was mad. I felt like I deserved it. I knew I had this vivid memory of before I went down the path of like 2 years of just nonstop. I was like, I need to do this.
Yeah.
I don't really know why, but like maybe I needed it to jumpstart me to here,
Right.
to where I am now. And I'm the best at it.
It's hard to know why when you're using. It's hard to know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
No,
keep
know
I
that.
know
running.
we need to wrap this up before we go. I want to know how is married life treating you?
Really cool, dude.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah,
So-
yeah, October. Yeah, man, it's really, really cool. I know we're still in a honeymoon phase.
We are.
Yeah.
No,
See, he's got the ring too.
Sweet, I love you.
But yeah, man, it's really good. Thanks for asking.
A question about your ceremony. I understand you served the rarest lobster in the world.
That's what they said.
What makes this lobster
how's
so,
it rare?
so
That's what
goddamn
they-
special?
So Duke's, Duke's in Malibu, the
Yeah.
Hawaiian restaurant.
Ronda Rousey was a hostess there, if I'm not mistaken.
What?
Yeah, pre-fame.
pretty
There's only
cool.
like 3 restaurants in Malibu.
What
and she was the
hasn't
host-
she done?
She was the
Right,
hostess
right,
at one of
right,
them.
right.
Yeah.
It's good. You would like it. It's Hawaiian food.
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of near Australia. Right?
Anyway, why is it endangered? What do you mean it's kind of anyway?
It's on the way.
Shut up. Go ahead.
And we were getting the menu. That's where we wanted to have the reception. It's on the water. It's beautiful. It's like kind of old school and not too hoity-toity. It just felt loose.
Even though you got the rarest lobster you can get.
It was on the menu. And so they gave us like the menu and they said, you can get lobster. And the lobster is from this one island. I forget where, but Duke's is the only restaurant that has access to those fishermen or that lobster. And so we're like, we're doing it. And it was good. It was pretty good.
Was it noticeably better than all lobsters?
I don't typically like lobster that much.
Such a cool statement.
I started freaking out about it because it's literally a cockroach, dude.
Yeah, of the sea, they say.
It's super gnarly and nasty, and it's like, I had this weird realization where I was like, this is horrible. This is a giant bug that.
Wait, while you were eating that one?
No, this is
I
way
was going to
before.
say, please enjoy that one.
So I was like, you know what? Maybe this isn't what I want to be doing. And then this was years ago. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll start coming around. I'll have lobster every now and then, here and there. And it was okay. But this lobster was really good. Really good. Probably the best lobster I've ever had.
I hope so. Thanks for being on the show. What's the website if people want to check it out?
Portal EXP.
Portal
EXP.
Yeah,
EX.
exp.com. And I want to say one last thing. I know, we were talking about not getting loaded, and Portal, you don't have to not get loaded to be part of it too. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. We can't guarantee you can come and be part of Portal and still get loaded, but we can't guarantee you'll want to keep getting loaded if you're part of Portal.
Yeah, we're not advertising sobriety.
Yes, totally.
We just are. Like that's but we're not, we're not a recovery program.
Yes,
we
totally.
we are healing.
Yes. PortalEXP.com, and then we're on Instagram and all that stuff.
Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Love you
Thanks
so
for having
much.
us. Love you,
guys.
man.
Love you.
Thanks, Tully.
Have a good one, everybody. See you next week. Don't die.